Hi everyone, I'm Gina K from Gina K Designs and your host of Stamp TV. Today on Stamp TV, I'm going to show you a really cool background technique using the stencil from the new Made with Love Stamp TV Kit. I first saw this technique done in a card by one of our design team members, Susie Moore, and she's incredibly talented and did this technique, and I had to go investigate and see exactly what she did. So I want to show you today. Let me show you the tools and products you need to do this technique. First, you're going to need some cardstock, and I'm going to show you the technique on two different colors. I'm going to do it on the white, and then I'm also going to do it on our new Applemint. And then, to layer that background piece, I'm going to use some of our black Onyx and a white card base. Then you're going to need a few extra sheets of our layering weight cardstock or any lightweight cardstock. And here I have a bunch of them. I'm going to just kind of use them as shims for my Cuttlebug, and I'll show you how I do that in just a little bit. You're also going to need some ink, and the inks that I'm using today are the new Applemint ink, Blue Lagoon, and some Sweet Mango. And then you're going to need some sponge daubers or other ink applicators, and I'm just using 3 of them, 1 for each color. Now I'm going to use the new stencil from the Made with Love Stamp TV Kit. I'm new to stencils. I haven't been using them for very long, but I really enjoy using them for different inking techniques. So when I saw this card that Susie did, at first I thought she used an embossing folder. And then I investigated a little further and I realized that she had used the stencil to emboss these hearts onto her card. And I want to show you how easy this is to do. And I don't know about you, but just the thought of being able to emboss with stencils has just changed my whole world. Stencils are relatively inexpensive, about $5 or $6 each, but you can use them now not just for inking techniques, but also to create texture, 3D texture with embossing. So I'm going to start by grabbing my Cuttlebug here, and I'm going to put down an A and a B plate. Then I'm going to lay down an embossing mat, and this one is by Spellbinders. It's their embossing mat, but there are other embossing mats out there on the market, and I think there are even some thin rubber type sheets that you can buy at the Home Depot or places like that that plumbers use. It's like a gasket kind of thing. So you might want to look into that too if you don't have an embossing mat. Then you're going to lay down a piece of cardstock on top of that. And then on top of that you're going to lay down your stencil. You can see how I did that. And because stencils are usually bigger, they're usually 6 by 6, you can do square cards like this too, and it's going to cover your entire front of your card. So these are really great. Now I'm going to put another B plate on top, and then I'm going to shim it with a couple pieces of cardstock. I think I'm going to try 4 thin pieces of cardstock here, and if that's a little too much, I'll pull one off. But you really want to be able to get some pressure so that that top plate can press down into that rubber mat and really make an impression. So I'm going to run this through, and I'll run it back through again, and let's take a look. Got my glasses here. Okay, now can you see this? Look at all of that beautiful texture. Isn't that cool? I love that. And although it's not quite as raised as an embossing folder, it's definitely embossed. And you can use either side. So this is the recessed side, and this is the side I'm actually going to use for my background technique. But let me put this aside. I want to do it one more time by using a piece of colored cardstock and just show you what that's like. This cardstock is a little bit thicker. So let's put that down, and I'll get those same 4 pieces of white cardstock. And this is going to be a little bit more snug going through. All right. And there we go again. Look at that. I don't know what that is. Oh, there we go. Isn't that beautiful? All that texture you get using a stencil. Now, if you want to, you can lay that stencil right back on top and tape it down, and you can do some inking techniques just to the raised areas. Pull it off, and you'll have even extra texture because that will change the color a little bit, even if you just wanted to use a similar color just to make those hearts a little bit darker. So that's really fun. Okay, so now let me show you how I'm going to ink this and really bring out that texture. I bet you're all thinking, I wonder what stencils I have in my collection. I know, I started looking right away. Okay, so the first color that I'm going to lay down is a little bit of Blue Lagoon. And some of you have told me, I know I'm mentioning this every video, but some of you have told me that you're having some trouble getting the lids off of these ink pads. They are really, really tight on there. But there is a trick. You can see there's a little white lip on the edge. Just slip your nail right along that edge and then just pull, and it comes right off. Very easy to get it off. But if you don't do that, you'll struggle. Okay, so now I'm going to use the recessed side where the hearts are pressed in, and I'm going to add a little bit of color here. You see the edges of those hearts are grabbing the ink a little darker. Okay, now I'm going to add some of the Applemint. And again, this is one of the new ink pads, so you just have to get your thumb under there. And I'll add a little bit of Applemint. Now I'm doing this one a lot brighter than I did my other one, and I'll show you the subtleness of the other one, because I didn't add anywhere near as much ink, but this is awfully fun. So that's what that looks like. And then I'm going to go over those areas again with a little bit of sweet mango. It's neat how these colors blend so nicely together. I was pretty sure when I first started that I was just going to make brown, but you can really see the difference in the colors. Okay. So, that's so pretty. So much fun from a stencil. A little simple stencil. Okay, and now I'm going to mount that onto this black piece of cardstock. Let me grab my tape. There we go. And then this whole panel is going to go on top of that white card base. And definitely clean up your work area first. I don't have any paper towels over here with me today, but you don't want to lay your white cardstock down over that ink. Or use a scrap piece of paper to do your inking and then just move that out of the way. Okay. So look at that cool embossing technique. It's so easy and so much fun. You can also layer your stencils. Put two stencils down together. Put the hearts down and then maybe a thinner stencil that has some lines in it or some checks or dots, and you can get multi-texture looks that way. Just pile them on top of each other and run it through your Cuttlebug. Okay, so now let me show you a finished card project that I did using this background technique. And like I said, I made it much more subtle. So here's the subtler version of that. And this uses the brand new StampTV Kit, the Made with Love StampTV Kit. And what I did here was I used the Better With You stamp set, and I stamped this plant image and the greeting. And then I just mounted them on some black onyx and white, and I did the same with the circles here. Just cut a black circle for underneath. And I want you to just take note of this tiny little stencil here. This is a new stencil that I found, and I'd love to get your opinion. Those of you who have our Fanciful Flourish die, this is the same die, but it's really tiny. It's a mini Fanciful Flourish, and you get both the right and the left. So I'm just wondering if you guys like this and if you'd like to see this one come into our store. So maybe leave a comment underneath the video and let me know how you feel about this, and if enough people like it, maybe we can add this one into the store as well. Then I also used the Alison's ribbons dies here to create a border for the top and for the bottom. Colored those in with some Spectrum Noir markers, the little leaves there. And I love these leaves because they look like hearts and it matches that heart background. So that's my finished card project using the new StampTV kit, and this is my cool background technique, thanks to Susie Moore for sharing that, using a stencil and your Cuttlebug to emboss. I hope you've enjoyed today's StampTV video. Stay tuned to StampTV for more projects featuring the new Made with Love StampTV kit, and thanks so much for watching.